Hello, everyone, and welcome into Doran Park. Tyler Henry alongside Colin Casey. Colin, let's try this for a third time. Maybe the third time is the charm. The Harwich Mariners taking on the Bourne Braves. Of course, again, this broadcast being joined live in progress as we are looking at the six-hole hitter Jordan Beck making his Harwich Mariners debut. Almost gets hit by a pitch from Peter Van Loon. So let's go ahead and try to reset things one more time for everybody at home here. The starting lineup for the Harwich Mariners. Center fielder Ben Malgiri led things off with a ground out. Zach Preisner reached on a single. Brock Wilkin, as this pitch is fouled back to the screen here. Wilkin flew out. Carter Putz grounded out. Josh Hood in this inning here in the top of the second with a looking strikeout, and that brings up right fielder Jordan Beck. He'll be followed in the lineup by catcher Tatum Levens, second baseman Hal Hughes, and left fielder Jake Lazaro. All of those guys facing the starting pitcher making his Cape League debut for the Bourne Braves in Peter Van Loon. Van Loon brings home a pitch that misses in the dirt. Count goes even at 2-2. Set the defense here for the Bourne Braves. Bender gets the start behind home plate. Moylan at first, Wimmer at second, Goodwin at short, Anderson at third. It'll be Wallace in left, Lampy in center, and Kyler Fedko gets the start out in right. Colin, we talked about it a couple of times before. We'll try to talk about it again now that we are up and running. This is a big game here for the Harwich Mariners. Of course, a Bourne Braves team that I wouldn't call them vulnerable, but they did tie and then took a day off, hoping that those bats have maybe cooled down a little bit.
Yeah, certainly a great opportunity for Harwich, and like you said, they need it after dropping each of their last two games.
Here's the next pitch. This one swung on and fouled off. Another good battle pitch here for Jordan Beck, who is again taking his first at bat here in a Harwich Mariners uniform. The Tennessee Volunteer, a late arrival here from the College World Series playoffs. As now we have time called, and it looks like the left fielder, after getting the ball, jogging back out to his place. Wallace not set. And you want your left fielder to be out in the field ready to defend, especially with a right-handed batter up at bat. He wouldn't have been needed as swinging through it as Jordan Beck, and he begins his Harwich Mariners career with a swinging K. Back-to-back strikeouts here for Peter Van Loon. That will bring up Tatum Levens.
And Beck strikes out swinging, and as Levens walked to the box, Jordan Beck said something to him real quick. Maybe might have picked up on something with Van Loon, and we'll see if that helps out the catcher in his first at-bat.
That's one thing that I love about this Harwich Mariners team, and you saw the same thing back in 2019. A lot of times when guys in this league strike out, they put their head down, they walk back to the dugout, they look defeated, they look frustrated. Harwich's guys almost always giving some kind of instruction or other to their teammates, and we get to hear some of the details of that. Obviously, we won't share them on the broadcast as this ball is pelted into right field. That'll be another single here for Tatum Levens, and the Harwich Mariners have a runner aboard with 2 outs. But again, I mean, you can't help your teammate if you're just going to walk past him with your head down. And this is what I love, the attitude of this Harwich Mariners team. It just feels right, and a team that I feel like can really get things going here throughout the season.
And this was Beck's first at-bat with the team. He's a new arrival, activated today right away, speaking to his teammate, giving him a tip, and look at that, it paid off. Ripped one right through the right side of the infield for a 2-out single.
Absolutely. And again, as we mentioned, this is not exclusive to Jordan Beck. We saw a lot of this yesterday. We saw some detailed conversations from Pat Winkle as he walked by, as this first pitch from Van Loon misses down and away to Hal Hughes, the second baseman, formerly out of LSU, now out of Rice. I've still had to get used to that this season, Colin.
Oh, yeah,
we call an
course.
entire year for Hal Hughes out of LSU, and then he switches teams on us during the offseason. As he will miss another pitch here, does Van Loon, and the count goes to 2-0.
Hughes coming in at 261 on the season, no homers, 2 runs batted in.
Of course, we'll get you an update on plenty of other things going on around the league, and in this game, as another pitch misses out of the zone, and the count now 3-0 to Hal Hughes. And I will say, from 2019 to now, Hal Hughes swinging a much better bat. He has certainly picked things up on the offensive end, at least from what we've seen out of him.
Yeah, it's almost like he took momentum out of that end of 2019 where he really picked things up in the playoffs, of course, had the home run. And since then, maybe the change of scenery for Rice also is something that has really helped him out because he has been an important player at the bottom of this Harwich Mariners order. And not only that, he's improved in the field after getting off to a bit of a shaky start with a couple of early errors through the first 3-4 games.
Absolutely. So a 3-0 count here. Van Loon trying to be careful. Working out of the stretch with a runner on base brings home the pitch. That's in there for a called strike. Also something you don't typically see, Colin. And as you saw there for a moment, Van Loon getting a talking to from his catcher, Colton Bender. Colton Bender, one of the shorter catchers you'll see at just 5'9". Van Loon at 6'5", towering over him there as he stepped up onto the pitcher's mound. This ball swung on and skied high in the air. Back to the, or I should say back behind the bleachers here. As again, we've got a great seat here, just about right behind home plate.
Yeah, one of the better ones you can really ask for out of any road ballpark. The sight lines are outstanding, and it's really a great place to watch a game as a fan as well. You can sit basically anywhere all the way around the ballpark.
Absolutely. Again, you mentioned this park rebuilt back about 15 years ago. As the runner takes off, this one's going to be swung on and taken down that third base line. Count will stay here at 3-2 on Hal Hughes. But the only part of the field that didn't get redone was the scoreboard out in right field. As you see right now, the Harwich Mariners playing the Bourne Braves. Fun little anecdote here at Doran Park. From the stretch, Peter Van Loon looking for another clean frame here after getting out of the first unscathed. Runner goes again. This will miss down and away. And it is a long walk issued here to Hal Hughes. With runners on first and second now for the M's and Jake Lazaro at the plate.
Great patient at-bat there from Hughes. Drawing 3 straight balls to begin it. Ripped a couple of foul balls to stay alive. And able to lay off that fastball. Didn't miss by a whole lot, just low and outside. Working the count. Huge, and that brings up Lazaro, who gets a great opportunity now with a runner in scoring position, nobody out.
Yep, Harwich was able to get Zach Preisner to third.
2 outs, I should say.
You're good. Zach Preisner able to reach third base with nobody out. He did not come across the scores. This one gets by momentarily Bender, but he's able to pick it up in time. Count at 1-0. And once again, the Mariners with a runner in scoring position, although as you mentioned, Colin, this time with 2 away in the inning.
Something that we haven't seen too much of from the Mariners the last couple of games, especially against Orleans. Kind of what we saw in the first few games of the season. We'll see if the Mariners can get that clutch hitting back.
Yeah, it seems like it's been all or nothing for the Mariners offense so far this season. As this pitch is in there for a called strike. Lazaro takes a look back. Seems to know it was in the zone. The count goes here to 1-1.
Talk about Bourne's hitting and pitching, but their fielding shouldn't be overlooked as well. They're tied for second in the league in fielding percentage, and they've only made 5 errors as a team.
It's a pretty good ratio. The 1-1 rather misses low.
Harwich, on the other hand, leads the league right now in errors and is last in fielding percentage.
Well, and I was about to say I hate to bring it up, but I believe Harwich with 5 errors just last night.
Yep, 15 on the season.
2 balls, 1 strike, the count right now. Van Loon kicks and deals. This will miss low. Count goes here to 3-1, and Van Loon, similar to what we saw yesterday, missing everything down. And I'm not sure if that's because he's trying to draw the ground ball, but right now everything in the dirt he's really struggling to locate with some of these pitches.
As a pitcher of the taller variety, you are pitching downhill, so trying to get some sinking action, but a little bit too much thus far.
See what he comes back with on a 3-1. This will be swung on by Lazaro, fouled back into the screen. And the count goes full here at 3-2.
Runners will get a head start once again at first and second, so if Lazaro's able to find a gap with 2 outs, might be able to plate 2 runs, especially with Hughes a solid runner over at first base.
And talking about a left-handed hitter, you got a better chance if you get one down in front of the right fielder. So a pull hitter in Lazaro will try to plate 1 run here, or at least keep the inning going. Runners go, it's fouled away. They'll have to turn around and come back. And we will do it again. And Colin, I feel like we've seen this movie a time or two as well. Mariners batters working really long at bats. Again, the team that, as of a couple of days ago, still led the league in walks while being last in the league in strikeouts offensively. See if that patience pays off for Lazaro. Peter Van Loon staring him down, looks in for the sign. Checks the runner back to second, payoff pitch. This one swung on up the middle. It's going to be scooped up by the shortstop. Turns, throws to first. A long stretch, but it is going to be in time, as keeping his foot on the bag there was Moylan, and that's the 3rd out of the inning. So the first time through the order, nothing doing here for the Mariners. Still a 0-0 ball game. We will step away. When we come back, the Bourne Braves up to bat in their half of the second. You're listening here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back to baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Tyler Henry, Colin Casey as a second inning of work coming up here for Billy Seidel. And, well, Colin, so far so good for Seidel. 3 up, 3 down, including a strikeout of Dalton Rushing. He'll face the heart of the order now in Braylon Wimmer, Caden Wallace, and Max Anderson. But this has also kind of been a theme here for the Mariners over the last couple of days. They found themselves down early in a lot of these games. The bullpen comes in and pitches well, but does not have the run support to lead the Mariners to victory. So far, so good here for Seidel.
Yeah, outstanding pitching from the bullpen yesterday specifically, as you mentioned. Trey Dumkowski was outstanding coming out of the pen, and see if we can get that starting pitching as well.
So far, so good. One pitch and a ball taken right at Hal Hughes, who will toss it over to first in time for the first out of the inning. So a great start here. Very efficient start for Billy Seidel, who will now face off against Caden Wallace.
Yeah, like you mentioned, efficiency really important so far in this game. Didn't get a deep start from Cam Schlittler yesterday, and to his credit, there were a couple of unearned runs in there as well, so it certainly wasn't all on him. But getting a big start today would really take some of the pressure